I have eyes on Loki. I'm not Loki.
Hollywood idolizes the actors who play our favorite characters, but who are the real behind-the-scenes superheroes? Stunt doubles are a huge reason why movies have such epic action scenes, but they pay the price for having to wear the most uncomfortable costumes. Chris Pratt's stuntman? He was forced into an unbreathable mask that he couldn't even see through. Ready to find out more?
I'm trying to say that something is coming.
When you hear 2 a.m., you probably think of something like night or sleep. But for Monique Ganderton, it was the start of her day. She doubled for both Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy and Mystique in X-Men: The Last Stand. If her 2 a.m. call time wasn't bad enough, she would spend hours in the makeup chair before even getting to work.
You're weak. I'm you. Oh!
Mystique required over 6 hours of makeup and prosthetics total. She called working with prosthetics challenging because you're fighting and sweating in it. It's constantly needing to be touched up.
Had to sit through 7 to 8 hours of makeup every day.
Meet Chris Rumrell, the guy who did all of Chris Pratt's stunts as Star-Lord in Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame.
It's gonna look awesome.
When Chris does it.
Sure, Star-Lord's mask looks cool, but if you found out how it actually was for Chris Rumrell to wear it, you'll probably think differently. While wearing the mask, Rumrell says he literally couldn't breathe or see while he was doing his stunts. In an interview, he said, "Once you start moving in it and doing action stuff, you lose all the oxygen in there real quick." Chris Pratt's mask was equipped with a fan, but Rumrell's was so badly made, he broke it 3 times during filming. Luckily, someone finally noticed the #struggle and swapped the mask for VFX.
So I can hit that and when I'm doing giant stunt sequences, that's the one thing I forget to do.
We all love seeing Captain America using his superhuman powers in a fight, but it's not always Chris Evans who's under that suit. It's his double Daniel Hargrave, along with a harness that can be pretty painful. The harness is needed to bring Captain America's powers to life, but it once caused Daniel to be dragged face first 20 yards by the harness's string. He suffered a bad hamstring injury and a bruised ego after he says he passed all these superheroes while being dragged. Ouch.
I saw a few stuntmen take a few nasty tumbles, like really hitting the ground hard.
Catwoman riding the Batcycle was actually iconic. No doubt about it. And we have Jolene Van View to thank for all that footage. She slipped into a getup identical to Anne Hathaway's for the scenes, and while the leather may look cool, the experience wasn't all that great for Jolene. Jolene is allergic to leather, which means that every time she put on her costume, she would break out into a terrible rash. She said, "My hands started breaking out in massive red itchy patches." Luckily, it wasn't too long before the makeup department noticed and started using foam sealant and talc to help her out.
Bike ride, the Batpod rider for Catwoman, so when you see the bike scooting around, that's me.
Bobby Holland-Tanton knows all about Chris Hemsworth, and it's because he's been his stunt double for years. Which means he's run into some unfortunate costume troubles. See, Bobby is a few inches shorter than Chris, and the only way around that was for Bobby to wear stilts. He said it felt like doing stunts in high heels, and has actually been injured because of them. Imagine doing Thor-level stunts in high heels. No wonder Chris told him to just stop using them.
There is always that element of danger, and you do pick up injuries along the way,
There was also the whole situation involving the fat suit in Avengers Endgame. He said, "It's not easy dressing up like Thor as it is, let alone when he's piled on some pounds." And we were shooting in Atlanta at the height of summer, so that was difficult.
It's very demanding on the body, so you need to make sure that you're prepared the best way you possibly can be.
Marvin Ross was Tom Holland's stunt double during filming for Captain America: Civil War. And we're sorry to say being Spider-Man wasn't all it was cut out to be.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude!
Part of his costume was wearing a harness and being attached to a string. He would constantly need to shoot scenes where he was being slammed into the ground, and it was all out of his control. It was so painful and intense, he remembers not even being able to taste anything when it was all over. Our question is, how did he get up and do it all again the next day?
Do it. Yeah!
Mulan's costume in the new Disney live action is intense. Now imagine taking a swim while wearing it. That's what one of the film's stunt doubles, Ashley Fitto, did. She wore the costume, including the cape, armor, boots, and sword, all while shooting underwater. She says it was basically swimming with an added 30 pounds. Filming water scenes for Mulan also gave her a minor concussion. I felt a bit concussed as I was falling deeper down through the water. Once I hit my head, I kept on getting dragged down. Sounds like an actual nightmare.
It's definitely not an easy job, and it's like be prepared to do things.
Joanna Bennett has done it all. She's been a stunt double for characters like Mara, Wonder Woman, and Captain Marvel. While she says 2 a.m. call times and hours in a makeup chair are pretty bleak, the worst part about being a stunt woman is the costumes. Having to fight in tight clothes and high heels isn't the greatest, and a lot of the time uncomfortable. But thanks to actresses like Brie Larson, Joanna is getting the recognition she deserves for her work.
So exciting to be a part of bringing such a strong female character to life.
Greg Lane was the man of many characters for Lord of the Rings filming, but when it came to doubling for a berserker, the experience was dangerous. Like a lot of actors, he spent 16 hours in the makeup chair getting prosthetics put on. But that wasn't the worst part. His costume was too heavy, and so was the torch he had to carry. So heavy that when he had to run with it, he was actually burning other actors. Deadpool may be hilarious, but behind the scenes wasn't always a comedy. Michelle Smith was the stunt double for Angel Dust and says the experience was so demanding on her body. She was forced to wear a harness that pulled her in all different directions. Listen to her tell us how it sent her to the chiropractor on her days off.
So I did a lot of physio, a lot of massage, a lot of chiro, so if I had a day off, that's where I was.
One look at the Beast costume from the live-action Beauty and the Beast, and you can probably tell it wouldn't be great to wear. Well, stuntman Adam Basil says it made his job extremely difficult. He called working in the suit taxing and demanding because he could hardly move around in it. We all know how much Jim Carrey hated getting his makeup done for the Grinch, but we forget his stunt double Jonathan Nosen had to go through the same process. Except, he also did stunts. He says it was hot and binding, and that he had to work around how he would move and do his stunts because of how big it was. In this case, he's giving credit to Jim for how long he wore it.
If you give them the opportunity, they will be.
Paul Darnell didn't have a problem with the costume when he was Henry Cavill's stunt double in Man of Steel, but he had to actually transform his own body. He was forced to gain 25 pounds in a short amount of time by hitting the gym at 4:30 a.m. every single morning. Is that even possible? Or healthy?
Fight sequences and stunt sequences, they're a lot of fun to do.
Janelle Kerfman was Karen Gillan's stunt woman on Jumanji, The Next Level, and absolutely despised Ruby Roundhouse's short shorts. She and Karen even bonded over it. I went in for my fitting and I was like, Karen, I swear these shorts are shorter this year. But they learned to turn the shorts into a positive by priding themselves on how hard they work to look good in them. We love girl power. Angelina Jolie really does it all, including her Maleficent stunts. But her intense 3-hour-long makeup led to a lot of complications. She was constantly tripping and falling into things because of her high heels, and when she would do wire work, her horns would get stuck and completely ruin the take. Talk about dedication.
Women can be many things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Imagine risking your life just by walking into work every day and doing your job. Our level of respect for these performers is through the roof right now. They rarely receive any credit, but it just goes to show us how much they love their jobs. What painful costume did you think was the most shocking?